will be solving the NET examination paper for geography. We will be working on paper 3, July 2016. Now, few of the things you should note before we start this paper. Most of the questions in paper 3 were exactly the same questions that were asked in 2014 June and December. So what is important to note here is, I would strongly recommend that you solve previous year's papers. You can find all the previous year's papers that are available at Doorstep Tutor, so you can just go there and view the questions, and that will give you an idea how to work around. Now, another thing to note here was some of the questions were very direct, that required basic knowledge of the knowledge, and there were kind of very questions based on rote memorization. A few of the questions were tricky and required conceptual understanding. Now, this was definitely much difficult than paper 2 that we discussed previously. Now, the first question we have already discussed in our class in drainage pattern. If you go back on that class, you can find this. So, a drainage pattern which is not related to the structure of the region is a superimposed drainage pattern. I won't discuss much here because we have already covered this topic in one of the lectures. So, you can just directly go there. Next, Crickman, under the cycles of erosion, we talked about the Davis landform features that he gave, the Penck's feature, and then Crickman talked about the concept of panplane, and he supplemented that with the concept of peneplain propounded by Davis. Next question, which of the following is strongly a presumptive of fault scrap? Now, this is again a question that has been asked in June 2014. You can just go on to Examrace and Doorstep Tutor and you will find all the list of questions there. You can work around those. So that is due to a poor correlation between the rock resistance and the topographic form. The reason being the erosion of the soft rock that is brought against the hard rock is made mainly by faulting, and if there is a poor correlation, that would lead to that would be a precondition for the fault scrap. So D would be the correct answer here. Next question, so you have an assertion that deep chemical decay of rocks is one of the outstanding features of humid tropical regions that explains about the chemical weathering. And next it says intensity of chemical weathering depends on the abundance of water and higher air temperature. That is again correct. So we can say reason is a correct explanation for assertion, and both of these are correct. So A would be the correct answer here. Next question. The islands along the mid-Atlantic ridge are highly prone to volcanic activity. That is correct. And sea floor spreading is the main cause of earthquakes in the Atlantic Ocean. So when we talk about the mid-Atlantic ridge, the basic idea behind the mid-Atlantic ridge was the concept of sea floor spreading, and that was because it is a kind of divergent plate boundary, or I could say it's a constructive plate boundary, and because of that you have faults that are created here which lead to earthquake and volcanic activities. So both of these are independently correct. The question does not clearly indicate, because if it is a main cause of volcanic activities, I could say reason is a correct explanation for assertion, but since here the reason just talks about earthquake and there is no reference to volcanoes, I can say both of these statements are independently correct. So B would be the correct answer here. Next question. Now here is just the authors and the list of the books. So what you have to do is directly match the author with the list of book. Now, Principle of Geomorphology was propounded by Thornberry. Now this is a very famous text in geography. Most of who you are studying geography at master's level have gone through this. So Principles of Geomorphology by Thornberry. Then you have the concept of unstable earth by Steers. So Steers gave the book on unstable earth. Then you have the Spirit and the Purpose of Geography by Woolridge and Morgan. And finally, Richthofen gave the book on geomorphology. So this is based on our kind of rote concept. Next, which of the following arrangement of Pleistocene Ice Age is in the correct chronological order? So if we move from the oldest to the newest, you have GMRW that could be remembered, that is Gunz, Mindel, Riss and Worm. So that's around 600K, 400K, 200K and 100K. So that is the time duration that we talk about. So the correct order is Gunz, Mindel, Riss and Worm. Next, divergent plate boundaries cause seafloor spreading. That's correct. Now the language in the reason is incorrect. it's not construction plate boundaries, it should be constructive plate boundaries. And constructive plate boundaries result in formation of fault, that is again correct. So constructive plate margins and divergent plate margins are one and the same thing. So constructive or divergent plate margins result in formation of faults, and that ultimately leads to seafloor spreading. So I can say reason is the correct explanation for assertion, and both of the statements here are correct. Now next, micro scale. The examples are turbulence, eddies, dust devils and gust. That's correct. Planetary winds, the example is waves in the westerlies, that's again correct. For mesoscale, you have tornadoes, land and sea breeze, mountain and valley breeze. So all those are mesoscale. Synoptic scale or large scale winds are planetary winds, or which we explain under the 3 cell model, the headless cell, the Ferrel cell and the polar cell. Valley and mountain breeze is an incorrect option. So D would be the answer here. Next, which of the following statement about polar jet stream is not true? Polar jet stream moves northward during summers, it's correct. It supplies energy to circulation of the surface storm is again correct, and it coincides with the polar front is again correct. But the velocity of polar jet stream would be maximum during winters. We have already discussed this on the class on jet stream. So if you go back and refer that class, you will get a quick idea that the jet streams are strongest when the temperature gradient or temperature difference is maximum, and this happens during the winter time. So the C choice here is an incorrect choice. Next question. Supercooled water is a water that exists in liquid state even when it reaches 0 degree Celsius. So even if the temperature is below 0 degree Celsius, it will still remain in the form of liquid, it would remain liquid. It's mainly seen in the cloud formations where you have the supercooled water that is there. So if you go on to the class on cloud formation, you would have an idea about this. So the correct answer here would be C. Next, a place located at higher altitude would experience, since it is at a greater height, what would happen? During the daytime, it would receive a lot of sunlight. So daytime would be higher temperature, and during the night it would cool rapidly. So the difference or the range of temperature would be highest. So it would have a greater daily range of temperature, that is correct. However, as compared to the lowland here, the annual mean temperature here would be much lower, and therefore D would be the correct answer here. Next question. The hurricanes can develop along the equator, that's correct. Coriolis is maximum over equator, that is incorrect, because Coriolis is 0 over equator and it is maximum over poles. Now if you go back on the class on winds and the Coriolis effect that we have talked about, you will clearly understand the reason behind this. So you have assertion that is correct and reason that is incorrect. Next question. Now here what we are trying to understand is what happens if the relative humidity is 100%. Relative humidity is 100%, that means you have full saturation, or I can say saturation occurs when the relative humidity is 100%. That means it's holding maximum amount of water vapor it can hold at a given point. So what would happen as the temperature would increase? As the temperature would increase, the water holding capacity of the air parcel would increase, and this would be because of the reason that air molecules are moving apart. As a result, you would have among the choices, you would have the highest temperature, that is 40 degree, would have the greatest amount of water vapor in the given quantity that it can hold. So answer would be A. Next, what happens when Chinook wind is drawn on the leeward side or leeward slope of the mountain? Now Chinook and Foehn are two specific winds which are dry winds and warm winds. So Chinook is a kind of warm and dry wind. Now what would happen here is, Foehn is popularly known in the European region, while Chinook is found in the North American region. Now what would happen here is, when it is on the windward side, it would attain a lot of moisture, and when it reaches the leeward side, it would fall down, or I would say there would be release of latent heat of condensation that would occur. So what would happen here is there would be decrease in the relative humidity and also the saturation vapor pressure would increase. So I can say both A and B are the correct option for this, and that is due to the compressional heating that would take place. Next, what you have to do here is you have to match the word with the definition. So you have absolute humidity, which is the total weight of the moisture per unit volume, is the absolute humidity. The ratio of amount of water vapor actually present in the air having definite volume and temperature to its maximum amount it can hold is the relative humidity. Weight, mass of the water vapor in grams contained in 1 kilogram of the air, including the water vapor, is known as specific humidity, and ratio of the weight of water vapor to the weight per unit volume of dry air is known as mixing ratio. So these are the correct matches for this question. Next, sea attained its present level during which geological era? During the Cambrian period, sea attained its maximum level, and that was a period where the Cambrian explosion occurred that led to maximum diversification of life. So Cambrian is the correct answer here. Next, now this question, the pyramid of biomass is inverted in case of C and D, both would be the correct option here, because in case of any aquatic system, ecosystem, if we consider, the pyramid of biomass would be inverted, because what we are trying to understand is we are trying to understand the biomass at a given point of time or at a given instance. So for example, you have the amount of phytoplanktons. Let's just talk about two levels. You have the phytoplanktons and the zooplanktons. So if we talk about over a huge range of time, definitely there would be a lot of phytoplanktons which could be food for the zooplanktons, but at a given instance you have limited phytoplanktons, but you have the mass of the zooplanktons that is much higher, so the pyramid becomes inverted. Similarly, in case of lawn, what would happen? At a given point of time, the grass in the lawn would be limited, but however, if I keep cutting the grass and accumulate it over a period of 1 year or 10 years, that accumulation would be sufficient to suffice hundreds of cows. So what we are trying to understand here is that pyramid of biomass is inverted, and that is at a given instance. So if you go back onto the class on ecological pyramids, you can understand this better. So here I believe this is a controversial question, and both marine and freshwater should be the correct option here. Next, which of the following percentage India contribute to the world's biodiversity? Now India contributes around 7 to 8% to the world's biodiversity. So the correct answer here should be 7 to 8%. Next, the best favorable temperature for formation of corals is 18 to 23 degrees Celsius. Below it and above it, very few corals can survive. Some of the corals, however, survive at a temperature of up to 40 degrees Celsius, but that's a rare breed in tropical areas. And corals can also not grow below a depth of 50 meters. So that is something general that is asked about coral reef. On the class on coral reef, you have the details. You can go there and have a detailed understanding of this concept. Now this question is specifically asked to confuse the student, because if you directly look onto the map, you will believe that Australia has a huge coastline. However, the correct answer here would be Canada due to few reasons. First of all, you have lot of lake boundaries on the southern side, and you have the boundaries that is indented. As a result, the total length of the boundary, or I could say the total coastline, would be much higher in case of Canada as compared to Australia. So that was a main confusion for most of the students here. Now the highest coastline or the longest coastline, the country would be Canada, and with the smallest coastline the country would be Monaco. Next, the term microtidal has been adopted to refer to a spring tidal range of 0 to 2 meters. So 0 to 2 meters would be microtidal. So D would be the correct answer here. Next, the endemic species of India are mainly found in northeast India. Of the around 1500 plant species or floral species, 800 are endangered and found or specific to northeast India. Again, if I go on to the endemic bird area that has been declared, the EBA, you have the Northeast India that accounts for maximum endemic species, of which you have 2 critically endangered species, you have 3 endangered species and nearly 14 vulnerable species that exist in the EBA zone. So the answer here would be Northeast India. Next, you have to match the book again with the author. So you have Beach and Coast written by King. You have The Process Geomorphology written by Reiter. Beach and Coast by King. You have The Physics of Blown Sand and Desert Dunes written by Bagnold. And finally you have To Interpret the Earth written by Schumms. So that's again something you need to memorize and you need to know about, a very direct question. And finally, who was the author of the book Nature of Geography? This is again an important question from History of Geographical Thought. So Richard Hodgson would be the correct answer. In 1939 he wrote the book which was known as Nature of Geography. So with this we covered the first 25 questions of paper 3 Geography, July 2016. We will be covering the next set of 50 questions in the subsequent 2 lectures. You can subscribe to our channel for any further updates. Have a good day ahead.